Hey, it's Hannah here, and this is the beginning of my introduction into my Gymnastic Groundwork course, which is also the basis for my Riding with Connection as well. Now, I've been interested in this for probably about 13 or 14 years, looking at how horses move, how horses and riders interact, and how we can really help our horses to be sound, happy, and healthy as possible. Now, I'm not an expert in biomechanics or anatomy. I have simply taken the work from my own life. So this is coming from myself as when I worked about 10 or 11 years ago as an equine body worker, professional equine body worker. I don't do that professionally anymore, but that really gave me a lot of information and knowledge and interest, fascination actually, into horses' bodies and how we can help them to be as healthy as possible. And then of course through all the books and courses I've been on and seminars I've been to and videos I've watched to help to bring lots of information from lots of different places. I'm really pleased to say that throughout the horse world there are a ton of experts focusing in on very specific areas, whether that's, hoof health in relation to the whole body, or nutrition, or management, or teeth, or saddles. All of these things are fantastic and they're all massive topics in their own right. So I really encourage you to go and follow as many different people as possible, learn from as many different places as you can. My real expertise is training this in a way which is really fun, relaxing, clear, happy for you and your horse, that the emotional enjoyment is really prioritized and that it's it builds your connection together. It's something that you and your horse both look forward to, as well as helping them physically as well. But of course, if we're looking at how we're going to train the horses, we also need to know what we're going to train. So most of this, the theory module is an overview of why we're doing this, what the benefits are, and what we're really looking for, so that you've got a really clear understanding. I don't know about you, but for a lot of years I was very confused by exactly what I was supposed to be looking for, how my horse was supposed to move. There were a lot of different conflicting opinions and advice, and everything seemed very unattainable and complicated and out of reach and vague. And then people had these kind of specific goals in mind, that they wanted to do, a piaffe or get the horse to jump something, big jumps or whatever it was, that I couldn't really connect the dots. So what I've really tried to do here is to make it as simple and clear as possible, so that you understand what you're looking for from your horse, why this is really important to their health, both physically and emotionally, how it all works together, how it all pieces together with the training, so that it's a really fun and enjoyable process for both of you, that you've got a real clear understanding of why you're doing what you're doing and what on earth it is you're supposed to be training. So the first thing I'm going to look at, and we're going to look at all of these in more detail through the theory course, but just as an overview, the reason why I'm doing all this is to really help horses become sound, healthy, and happy. And it's really important to understand what a horse is. So horses they're designed to move. And this is one of the things that's really important for horses naturally. They cover miles a day in the wild, and they're constantly shifting and moving, and movement is necessary for their welfare. And in a domestic environment they simply don't get that level of movement. We contain them in paddocks and stables. Even big paddocks are very contained, and I do the best with my horses that I can, and I'm still aware that they're contained compared to the movement that they've evolved to do, that they've created to do. And so this is one way to start to bring more movement into your horse's life in a way that's going to be really beneficial for them. So the way that I approach the gymnastic groundwork, or connection training's approach to gymnastic groundwork, is that really it's kind of like Pilates or yoga or Tai Chi or dance training. It's about preparing the body to cope with different demands. So we're not trying to create elite ballerinas or gymnasts or bodybuilders, which are very specific. It's more about a holistic view of how the horse moves to prepare the body to be as strong and healthy and sound as possible, no matter what comes up in life. And things are going to, whether they're kind of cantering out with friends in the field, it's going to help them be more in control and more less prone to injury there, as well as if you're riding or working them or going out, all of these different things. So because it's not kind of focused towards a specific discipline per se, it's not about looking for one perfect position. There isn't really one perfect position anyway. Bodies are designed to move and horses are designed to move in different ways, depending on the demands that's going on in that moment. But it's really, it's about generally kind of gymnasticizing the horse. So improving them in lots of different ways. So making them strong but supple. Really looking at their body awareness and able to be in control of their bodies, which is really important. We'll get into that later on. And like I said, really support their bodies supported by their muscles working correctly, so that overall they're healthy, sound, less prone to injury, more stable and secure in their body. We're also looking for like I've said, the maximizing the emotional health. So this is the happiness, joy, confidence, relaxation levels of your horse. And first of all, horses that move, because it's such an innate drive, they are going to be more relaxed and happier anyway, because that's being satisfied, that urge. But also if they are more comfortable in their bodies, obviously they're going to be more relaxed, and being in control of their bodies makes them much more confident as well, and we'll look into that again in a bit too. So this is quite a varied training program. We're not looking at endless circles, endless repetition, or tiny precision, which can be detrimental both physically and emotionally for horses. We are really trying to keep it as varied and approaching from lots of different angles to really maximise the physical benefits, but also to make it fun for the pair of you as well. So aim number one of the gymnastic groundwork is to stretch, strengthen and straighten. So this is really about building suppleness, flexibility, strength throughout the body. So again, not in kind of specific areas, but a kind of overall holistic core strength that you'd see in something like a dancer or a yoga professional who has a body that is designed to be able to move in lots of different ways and stay very strong and supported and balanced in that. And also to improve straightness and symmetry too, which is about evenness on both sides. Aim number two is really about improving body awareness and proprioceptions. I love this picture of Freckles. You can see he's really having to step up with the hind leg as he navigates the kind of lumps and bumps around near the river. And this is what horses happens in the wild. They have to navigate different terrain, and that gives them a huge amount of body awareness and control. So this is about really helping them to know where they are in space, and this gives them a huge amount of confidence as well, that they feel really confident when they're in control of their bodies. Aim number three is problem solving. So this one isn't actually doesn't tend to be focused on directly, because if there is a problem, usually we go always take it right back to before the problem even starts. So I find that this is the way that I solve problems, but it's not like, oh, there's a horse that's bucking, let's do the thing that makes it buck and then stop it. But if you go right back to basics and build it up again progressively, then the problem doesn't happen anyway, because it's usually, you'll find out what the triggers are and you'll help your horse to be comfortable and confident in that situation. So for example, we've got a few here that are typical problems that I've helped to solve using these kind of exercises. So won't go forwards. This is a really common one. It's one that I had huge issues with Toby, and was one of my kind of things that really changed my perception of training and got me really pairing the positive training along with the physical needs and how horses are supposed to move, and putting those two together. And that just was incredible for Toby, because moving before wasn't comfortable for him. So it didn't matter how much I rewarded him for going forwards, because he wasn't moving in a way that felt good for his body, he didn't want to do it. And previous to adding the positive reinforcement in, I tried to get him to move in a way that was good for his body, but we weren't using rewards or clarity, so there was a lot of trying to get him to use his hind legs more, which was generally either leg or tapping with a schooling whip to try and get him to step under, and then he just wasn't interested. So then his mind wasn't engaged. So it's about marrying those two, and once your horse is able to go forwards in a way which is comfortable and joyful and rewarded, then it really helps the forwards. It's one you've got to be patient for. Well, in fact all of these you've got to be patient for, but it's really comes together with the movement the way they move and the rewards. A horse that rushes, so this is the other side. Often horses who are kind of imbalanced or anxious will rush, will speed up. And I find horses that are uncomfortable in their body tend to go one way or the other. They either speed up or they slow down. So if you've got a horse that rushes, this is going to be really helpful because we're going to be teaching them steadier, more mindful, more controlled movement, again, right from the beginning. And this really helps to build their confidence as well. So a lot of rushing comes from anxiety, and as we teach them how to move in balance, in control and comfortably, a lot of that anxiety melts away and therefore they don't rush. Horses who are stiff, heavy or one-sided. So these are horses who really kind of lean forward on the hand, who you feel like if you try and turn, they kind of just lean and fall, or they motorbike, or they go in one direction but not the other. They can canter on one leg but not the other. A lot of these things that we'll be looking at, building the responsiveness, the suppleness, the lightness, the balance in a really positive way for both of you. Horses who have experienced pain or discomfort. So obviously at this stage it's important as best you can to make sure that your horse is not currently in any pain or discomfort. But if they've got kind of some chronic issues like Toby's back issues, for example, that were stopping him going forward, he was getting a lot of body work, we'd gone through teeth, feet, saddles, nutrition, management, but it was actually the way he was moving that was causing this kind of chronic discomfort, and that really helped. But of course you don't want anything acute in there, so you obviously don't do it with a lame horse or with any injuries or with ill-fitting tack at the moment. But if they've had those in the past, then there's going to be that memory of it. So again, they're going to be like, I don't think that's a good idea because it's hurt me before. So this is going to be really helpful to, again, going back to basics, building it up really positively, really slowly helps them to experience movement in a comfortable way, which of course builds their trust and enjoyment out of it. Excitable in trot or canter, so it tends to be more exciting. Got little Freckles having a bounce there as they go up into higher energy, and this is a really great way to teach them to stay calm, relaxed, connected and thoughtful even as you build up into the higher paces. And then again, you've got horses who disconnect or zone out, and this really helps them, two of you, to build your communication really clearly, really subtly in lots of different ways, which really helps them to stay tuned into you as well. So aim number 4 is to prepare them physically and mentally for riding. So I know not all of you will be planning to ride your horse, but a lot of you are, and riding is another wonderful way to communicate with your horse, as long as, again, it's something that you're working together for and your horse is happy, confident and comfortable with it. So the way that this really helps to prepare horses for riding is because it teaches them how to move in a way that supports a rider, because horses aren't naturally designed to carry weight on their backs. We have to teach them how to hold themselves and move in a way which is healthy with the weight on their back, and I'll go into that later on through the presentation as well. Excuse me. So we've touched on this already, but a horse who's out of balance or doesn't feel like they're in control of their body, that can create anxiety, tension, rushing, planting, and that is all exacerbated when you put a rider on board. So again, teaching them this on the ground first really helps them to be more confident as they kind of navigate having the weight of a rider as well. Teaching the cues on the ground and then transferring them to the saddle. You can see in these photos we've got India doing haunches in on the ground and ridden, and Freckles collecting on the ground and ridden. I love teaching them in a way on the ground because it really makes sure that the horse knows what they're doing with their own body, and then you can transfer that to the ridden cues, which is really fun. And like I said before, this also helps horses to stay calm and connected through kind of trickier things or higher paces, which from a safety point of view is really important, or a confidence point of view as well, when you get on board, to know that your horse is likely to be able to stay calm, relaxed and connected as you pick up the pace or do something more difficult. And again, coming back to the horses who've experienced pain when ridden, often I take it right back to here and make sure their bodies are really comfortable, they feel really secure, and then add the rider in after that, so that we've really sorted out, eliminated any discomfort, any pain, and they've got trust in the movement, and then you can add the rider in and that process becomes much smoother as well. Aim number 5 is emotional enjoyment. So of course this is like the fundamental key of connection training anyway, that we're looking for happy horses who are relaxed and joyful, and we'll look into exactly what it means in regards to the connection training, but we'll be be assured we're going to be prioritising the emotional enjoyment, the clarity, the relaxation, the understanding, the choice and the fun all the way through the lessons. So something else I think is really important is that this work is for every horse and human or donkey, but again, like I mentioned earlier, it often seems really complicated and out of reach, or like, oh, I'll do this when often people say to me that they don't feel, oh, I can't possibly do a shoulder in or something, it's too far in advance. I can't, even trot my horse calmly at the moment. But what I want to make is that I want to make this accessible for everybody. I really want it to be, the concepts to be really clear, to be really simple, that you can understand and know what you're aiming for, because you can rest assured that learning how to do a shoulder in will help your trot. Like, this is really helpful for every horse and rider, and it's really started off with leading exercises. So it builds directly from the foundation course leading exercises and builds very slowly and progressively from there, just trying to make it as simple as possible, because I've been very frustrated over trying to learn this, that it does feel very kind of out of reach, and it's so beneficial for everyone and it's not really that complicated. So I hope that you'll get a lot of understanding from this and feel really confident as you move forward with your horse. Like I also mentioned as well, this is the base training for horses, all horses and disciplines. So this isn't like a specific, I'm not training horses up for a specific discipline. In fact, for my horses, I want them to be fairly all-rounders. I want them to be able to do a bit of agility, hacking, dressage, jumping, trick training, whatever. Maybe you want to do Western with your horse. This is not about preparing horses for a specific discipline. It's about generally building their body awareness, their strength, their suppleness, so that they can cope with whatever, happily enjoy, in fact, anything that you two want to do together, and also that you have an understanding of how to teach movement in a way which is clear, fun and positive for your horse. So it does take time and it does take consistency, and that is also really key, because we're changing the horse physically, so you've got to give the body time to build up to that. One of the other things that you'll see through this course is that I'm not looking for any kind of extreme movements. I'm not going up to really high level in any specific area. Now, you can take this that way if you want to. This is a base for everything, but it's improvements for every horse. So what I'm really passionate about is seeing that every horse has this base training. So it's a bit like, going to your local yoga class or your local dance class. You're going to get you're going to improve your awareness, your strength, your control, you should help hopefully get rid of any pain or discomfort that you've had. But then if you want to take that further, if it's your thing, you can go and get more specialist training. That's the same with the horses as well. So this is a base for all horses to improve them physically. So whether they're, you might have an older horse or whatever you've got, this should definitely improve them physically. So as I say, a lot of the taking it to the kind of higher levels of any discipline depends a lot on your horse's conformation, on their natural enjoyment and aptitude, and by all means go that way, but this is really the baseline for all horses. So all horses will have their strengths, whether that is their strengths and their weaknesses, their age, breed, conformation, history. Like, they'll bring all of this to the picture, and with my horses there's big differences in what they can do. So like Freckles, for example, finds a lot of the movement stuff very easy, but is not so great at the kind of obstacles and jumping, and India's completely the other way around. So I just follow their strengths as well, and don't push them in a way that's going to be that they find really difficult physically, that they're not really built for. So all of them can get this really strong base level. They can all improve massively. They can all move well. They can all move really comfortably. They can all be, take them up to a really great base level. But if you really want to take it further, that's going to depend on your specific horse, and that's really up to you, because I'll have given you the tools to be able to do that. And like I said, it's really slow, progressive and clear all the way through. So the exercises that we're going to look at, we've got in handwork, which basically describes all exercises from a kind of leading position. So these are the ones that build from the leading. You might find in different ways that people do it that they do it from different positions, maybe from in the front or from using reins at the side, but I've just kept all of mine for now. Most of them are from the just basic leading position, building out of the leading work from the foundation course. We've got lunging, which is working your horse on a circle. I tend to work fairly close up with them for lunging, a bit more of a distance than I've got there with Freckles, but the horse is working on a circle around you, and you're really looking at teaching them balance and connection and stuff. And it's fantastic for helping to get a bit more work at those kind of higher paces and faster energy and work on your communication at a distance as well. Obstacle training, really fun, but lots of different obstacles to help there. That's really about a lot of their body awareness, proprioception. And then I love to use the terrain as well. So this is going to really depend on the environment that you're in, but using the natural terrain as they would if they were having to kind of navigate in the wild as much as possible. And I'll give you lots of ideas for that as you go through too. So I do think jumping is another exercise that's really helpful, and you've probably heard the term gymnastic jumping, and that you can see in these photos how much India's having to use her body. Now she's a natural at this, as I've said, she finds it very easy, but you can really see there how it's helping her to be aware and to really stretch and strengthen, and there's a lot of, it's really great as well. So there's a whole load of videos on teaching your horse jumping on the ground and also ridden, so go and have a look at that, but it's not the focus of this course. We're looking at the flat work, but I just wanted to throw it in there because it is also a really helpful gymnastic and fun exercise for the two of you. So these are the exercises, and most of this course is really practical. It's kind of how-to, step-by-step, shown with with real horses in the moment, but this first module is really understanding the theory so that you really understand what we're training, why we're training it, where I'm coming from, how it's all going to work together, what you're looking for, and should really help to answer those questions so that as you start to go and work with your horse, you're really clear on where you're going. If Gymnastic Groundwork, the CT way, is something that you'd like to train with your horse, then please check out the Connection Training Club. This is our online members club where you get access to hundreds of step-by-step training tutorials, and we have a whole course on gymnastic groundwork, and this really takes you step-by-step through it. So the theory, first module is all the theory of really understanding how horses move, what you're looking for, all of the different bits from engagement, straightness, symmetry, bending, proprioception, all of these different elements, as well as looking at the emotional components of how we train as well. And then it moves on to getting started with leading with connection. So it begins from the very basics, just from leading your horse, and builds up from there, looking at starting to teach isolations, introducing lunging, using targets and round pens, so in a really positive, relaxed way for your horse, starting to build engagement in walk in hand, using poles, different types of terrain and things like that, and then moving up into lateral work and things as well. So we've got all of these patterns too, which are kind of like fun dressage test style, but they're obviously non-competitive, and they are on the ground, and there are these patterns to follow. They get progressively harder as you move on, so you can do those as well to give you some more focus and track your progress. So that's all available in the CT Club. You get access to all of the home study courses as soon as you join, as well as our forum and live Q&As, monthly challenges, loads of different bits going on. So if you're interested in that, then head over to connectiontraining.com to find out more about myself and Rachel, and you can click there on Learn CT Online, join the CT Club, and you can sign up there. We'd really love to have you along for the ride.